Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Ha ha. How's everybody tonight? Well, I'm doing pretty good. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Got everything to eat and didn't overdo it too much. Got to overdo it, but not too much. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Bubba. Camperman. Ha ha. Nice to see y'all. Well, I got on my thumbnail the dynamic duo. At least the ones we know about for sure right now. There's more. It's going to be Justice League, the Justice League coming together. And I've got my thumbnail bigger and faster than you know. You know, we're getting to the point, folks, where we're not going to have to really look for clues and worry. Stuff is going to be laid out and told us pretty plump and plain. You know, maybe not a lot of the deeper stuff that we get into, but the big picture that our neighbors have to come to accept is going to start getting held under their nose. And the more and more this goes on, especially with Elon Musk, you can see that this is a coordinated information campaign. And this lawsuit with Media Matters, what did Musk put out a statement said one of many. It's going to be many lawsuits coming out. So I will say that last I heard, though, we're going to give some thanks. How you doing, Tennessee? Lone Wolf, Rubber Toe, Alan, Sherry, Quilt, Henri. How you doing, Doc Ghost? Hi, Donna. Hello, Nikki. Yeah, I hit the thumbs up before you forget. Hi, Marla. So, Gloria, how you doing? One thing we're going to be real relieved, even though we'd like to see more. The last I heard, there was pictures let out of 13 people that were released as hostages over in Gaza. You know, and man, you take a look at those pictures. They're, 6-year-old little girls and little boys and elderly people. How many more is over there? 170 or 80 easily. So I don't know. They did ceasefire. A lot of people are criticizing it. It's hard to say what to do until you get in those shoes. I would not. I would have different approach. But I can't criticize them. I'm not in their shoes. But and a lot of the stuff I was talking about past couple of days, I don't want anybody to think that I have a overly negative view of people of the Muslim faith. For those of you who've been with me for a while, you know that I have discussed people in my life and in my mom's life that were Muslim, and we're very good friends. One was a very, very dear friend of mine. And I'm talking about jihadists and people that, hey, you get somebody with a real strict faith, and they choose the hadiths and certain passages out of that book that are rough. You're a non-believer is lower than a dog. And of course, the people that I had the pleasure to deal with, and my family, those people didn't take that view. How you doing, Georgia? So, just to let people know that, and I know most of you all in the chats know that I'm not not anti-Muslim, so to speak. We're talking about something different. Hi, Fancy Oak. How you doing? Nice to meet you. Hi, Rick Pierce. How are you? Yabba dabba do. Yeah. Well, Bubba, I'm glad to see you're doing good, and I hope everything. I hope you got things wrapped up, or you're at a good point with that what you've been working on without getting too much or your business on the street. But I hope everything's doing better for you. Hi, Ela. How you doing? Nice to see you. So anyway, the Israeli Defense Force, before Thanksgiving, I did my broadcast. They had gone into Gaza and they've taken all the government buildings apart, what they call a parliament, the court system, all that stuff. And things really started going south for Hamas when they brought in backhoes. You know, they said, well, let's show you how we deal with tunnels. You know, they just started, going after digging them up, going old school. And next thing you know, they're hollering for a ceasefire and wanting to give hostages. So we'll see how that turns out. But as I mentioned in the past, what has happened anytime there's been turmoil in the Middle East, we've always had spikes in gas prices. And that has been rather muted right now. We haven't seen a lot of market disruption, but that doesn't know. I'm trying to think. It was Georgia. Was it you or somebody said that it was $1.99 gas were there? No, it was Robin, I think. Yeah, Robin said that. So yeah, you see something like that, you probably want to go ahead and fill your vehicles up and put a couple of 5-gallon cans away, because our oil reserves are at a historic low. And as I've said, the frost is on the pumpkin already. And the information I get about the Ukrizzle conflict, where troops are, who did what to who, footage that I can't show on YouTube, and I showed some of it on YouTube, but I got in trouble, and I put some on Rumble, but they're very quiet. As a matter of fact, one of the last posts I saw was probably 4 days ago or so, and they said kind of ominously that in about a week the ground will be frozen. And that was all they said. Well, that means that mobility, all right, for an offense like tanks and armed personnel carriers, and even walking foot in some of those areas of the steppes can get quite sloppy when the ground thaws. So anyway, we'll see what that means. It could be nothing, but it may be not that much to report. But if that's the case, this is the first time in well over a year that things have been this muted. And I don't know, if something's going to pop off or what. And I showed that video where the young girl was singing for the conscripts, and they were all older gentlemen. I saw some footage where a female soldier had a helmet camera, and she was in the trenches with guys, and there was a lot of gunfire and boom booms going on. And it makes you, makes you really think. They're down to toss some people out there that should not be out there. So we'll see how Putin handles that, especially when the ground freezes. Fancy Oak says, oh, you watch me and Nikki all the time. That's great. Oh, yes, I will give Maggie a shout out. How you doing, Maggie? Ha ha. Glad you all can join us. And Patricia, how are you doing? Yeah, that's right. Something's up there. They're keeping that gas suppressed, but I think it's to help at this moment in time. I think it's the Saudis working with the White Hats to keep things relatively stable right now, because timing is everything. But I do look for there to be, I mean, we were told that oil was going to go to $150 a gallon. I haven't checked it lately. But Trump had it at 40. That's a benchmark, $40. So how high above that benchmark are we now? We're more than double that. Quite a bit more. So information keeps popping out. Like, I didn't get to talk too much about stuff because we were focusing on Thanksgiving and giving thanks and things like that. But Trump did bring everyone's attention, everyone that listens to Trump, about the consent decree from Georgia. And if that term sounds familiar, consent decree, that's what they used to change the rules when they were voting. I guess it's when the governor and attorney general and secretary of state do some kind of decree to consent to things. And that's supposed to, I guess, create a law in their brains. So I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I know in the notorious phone call that Trump had saying, hey, all I need is 11,000 votes, and they turned that into Trump was trying to make them give him 11,000 votes. No, he was just saying, take 11,000 dead people off, 11,000 illegal aliens, whatever you need to do, because it's there and you know it. But anyway, now they have a consent decree out acknowledging that 3,600 votes that was mentioned earlier in the week that were duplicate. So it's apparently been officially acknowledged that there was at least that one serious error. So if that's 3,600 minus 11,000, that gets us down to about 7,000 or 8,000 difference in the margin of victory. Who else's arm is going to get twisted? So to be coming out with some more acknowledgments or consent decrees. Maybe that's the way some of this is going to go officially. Some states may say, well, we found these errors and we really have to give the state to Trump. So how many states is it that he would have to have? We'll just keep an eye on it. So anyway, just let me see, checking the chats here. Too much coffee? You can never have too much coffee in that. Well, I guess you can. $2.87 for gas. Well, 16-gallon tank, that's roughly $20 more every fill up, thanks to Joe, but it's going to pop off. Rick's got $2 a liter in British Columbia. Liter. Yeah, it's kind of hard to calculate liters. What's that work out to gallon as far as a dollar amount for a gallon? I don't know. I can't jump out of here or I'll lose my stream. $4? You're blocked here. Hi, Larry. You can't be blocked. I see you. Candace Cleanup, how you doing? Yeah, Bubba sees you too, Larry. How'd you get blocked? What'd you do? What'd you do this time? I'm just kidding. Not there was ever this time. But anyway, Trump's been putting out these little video vignettes. And I'm hoping that there are people that never paid attention to Trump are going to start looking his way, especially when things start getting hairy. Because he's getting these little vignettes down to 2-minute snippets that take a issue and codify it down. Do you want the blue pill or do you want the red pill? You want this or you want that? This is what they're doing. This is what I'm going to do. Real simple stuff. You know, we're 4 liters a gallon, so it's close to $5. Rick said, wow. Yeah, a lot of people use those Kroger points and Costco points. I've been in Costco and I don't know how long. Pappy Two Bears, how you doing? So anyway, he's putting out these little vignettes, and one of me said he was talking about how crooked they are and how they're trying to twist everything to kick him off the ballots, and he said that's why I put it in the thumbnail. Bring it on, Joe. Bring it on. We're ready for you. And I don't know if you all got a chance to see my thumbnail, but I've got the Argentine president. He took that selfie of him with the Make Argentina Great Again hat. And I swear he's got that same look on his face that Trump's got with the mugshot look. And to me, that means if somebody was looking at me like that, I'd be thinking, you know, I'm going to get my head cracked. You know, that's one of those looks, you know, or I better watch my step kind of look around this person. And that's the look they're both given. And he gave Javier, I'll just call him Javier. He gave an interview where he said he did it. We saw the video with using the central bank as a pinata, breaking it open with a stick. And he gave an interview that, yeah, he is going to shut down the central bank. And he's going to not do it in a, you know, dramatic fashion or harmful way. He's going to try to figure out a system where it can run, believe it or not, without corruption. And it may just have to be something similar to what Lincoln was talking about in that statement somebody posted over the U.S. debt clock, where the government prints enough money to pay bills and for people to earn a living and quit the central bank game. So anyway, along with this thing that happened in Argentina, we got so much going on that the mainstream media is trying to either ignore it or paint it as extremists. And the latest one is what's going on in Ireland. And they tend to focus on stuff like that. You didn't hear hardly any coverage on Javier's victory in Argentina. which is huge because one thing he said, he was going with the dollar. That's what Javier said. Brazil, if you'll remember, if you remember, had a big meeting with the BRICS crowd. And the BRICS crowd is going to go with gold-backed currency. So that is a signal right there, because you can't have neighboring countries in the same hemisphere, getting too far away from each other on currency. And Trump said about 3 or 4 years ago that he didn't care for digital, and he did not want anything challenging the dollar. He said the dollar is where it's at, and he has said that if the dollar is replaced as the benchmark for world currencies, it will be the greatest defeat this country suffered in over 200 years. So that's why I, in the past, have said, steer clear of stuff like Bitcoin and digital currencies and stuff like that. The dollar, if Trump says that's what it's going to be, that is what it's going to be. This Argentine guy, he's sticking with the dollar. I don't think BRICS would be, or Brazil, even though it's got a commie in there right now. Who knows what the real story is behind that? Bolsonaro's back in town. Some of the lower dictators tried to get his daughter and make her get a thing in her shoulder and stuff like that. But really, who's in charge right there, we don't know. But there's going to have to be an equitable back and forth as far as legal tender goes. So if BRICS is nosing around Brazil and Argentina is right there as a neighbor and going to stick with the dollar, it tells me going to be gold backed, silver backed, all of it, including our money. That way you don't have these big discrepancies. I remember when the pound or the EU money and the pound, if you wanted, they were $150 for something, to somebody dealing with the pound about, say, around 2011 or 12, it was only like $100. They had a 30% or more advantage in their currency than our currency, than the dollar. That's right, Bubba. Cash is king. Yeah, the people of Ireland, Rick, they're gonna take over. I'm gonna get back on that topic. People talk about that Ireland thing like there's a bunch of NAZIs up there, when it's really just regular citizens that have had enough. And they're overshadowing the reporting on that, overshadowing the Argentina victory, and they're also not pointing out where have we seen pushback? Not just Ireland, Scotland, okay? The Dutch are getting pretty upset and pushing back big time. Sweden, Finland, the UK, and then Germany, the chancellor's, Stolz is his name? He was talking about mass deportations last week, conducting mass deportations. Did you know Germany signed a deal with Ukraine a couple of days ago to give them $1 billion? And everybody was up in arms about it. Wait a minute. It's just a lousy billion. Joe's trying to send them who knows how many billions, but he can't get away with it. He had to sign a something to keep the government open over the weekend, I believe it was, that didn't have nothing in it for Ukraine. He wants stuff for Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel all in one package. I have to look how much he wants, but it ain't in the millions. Okay, it's in the billions. So 1 billion. Germany's like, ouch. Well, the French had to push back too, and everybody kind of forgot about it. I had a video clip. I couldn't play it because it had violence in it, right? And I'm like one step away until about the 8th of December. Then I'll get some breathing room and can speak a little freer. Okay, folks, that's something to keep in mind. Hi, Annette. But the French, do you remember when they were going crazy in the streets and it was growing and growing and really a pain? And Le Pen, I had the video of her calling on the French fathers. The French fathers. Aunt Fizzle was out there night after night raising hell in France about 2 months ago. Do you all remember that? Well, she called on the French fathers. And they came out. And I had video of like middle-aged dudes, not dressed like freaks, dressed like working men, or one guy had a coat on with a white shirt with a collar and a pair of jeans. Another guy had a regular pair of pants and loafers and a dress shirt. I mean, they were middle-aged guys. Well, what they do, they came out the street with baseball bats. And they were not a criminal element. And that was the end of all that trouble in France. Do you remember that? Nobody covered it. And I can't remember what happened after that. I probably shouldn't let myself get distracted from that victory. But Marine Le Pen, is that her name? She said, we need the French fathers to come out and put a stop to this. After 2 days, it was over. They'd see some people run around with banners and Kool-Aid hair. They don't go over there, give them a wood shampoo with a baseball bat, or sink their foot in their backside and send them going up the street. And that's what I had a video of, where these guys were coming up to these. I can't say RADICAL, but that's what they were. And they came up there and put one upside the head, or kicked them in the pants and ran them off the street. So, how you doing, Roy? Oh, Irish Logic. I don't know. People are fed up. People that, the problem is not the whole problem, but part of the problem is, I saw somebody put out a tweet that said, of all the billions of planets in the universe, I end up on the one that's got a 40-day work week. I mean, a 40-hour work week. 40-hour work week. All the billions of planets here, I got to work 40 hours a week. Well, it's mom and dad got to work 40 hours. And the kids are on their own. And people are on what I call a hamster wheel. It started in the 70s to be a noticeable change in our culture, where both parents had to work. Since then, they've cultivated a system where they could influence the young ones and divide them from their parents, and their parents are too busy, too tired, too worried about bills, too stressed out uh, to even see how it's happening. So we got to break that hamster wheel psychology. That's the problem, folks. The hamster wheel. Well, I got to notice. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Somebody went to buy me a coffee. Let me see you. And I haven't seen him in the chats. Must be driving. That's my friend Gary, our friend Gary, from North to Alaska. We're going north to Russia Zone. Remember that song, folks? Thank you, Gary. I know you're out there, buddy, and I hope you're driving safe. Nikki said, just in time for me to enter this world. We raised ourselves. Well, we had help with Fred Flintstone, Bugs Bunny, the idiot box, right? The idiot box. That's what my grandmother called it. What are you going to sit in front of that idiot box? Go outside. Oh, my grandmother did not like. Well, she ended up liking it. She ended up liking it. I've already told y'all when her shows came on. It was an idiot box until her shows came on. I got to watch my show. Thank you, Nikki. There you are. Gary just got home. Hi, Lori North. You saw the movie North to Alaska? That was that who was in that movie? Cary Grant. Boob tube. That's right. The boob tube, Nikki. Henri and Nikki. Yeah, my grandmother called it idiot box, but then again, she called every refrigerator ever made the Frigidaire. Would you get me some tea out of the Frigidaire? I'd say, sure, Grandma. But anyway, so I really should have made more hay out of that French Fathers thing. But that was so muted. Nobody really caught that. Now what are they going to do? I mean, there's probably other countries we haven't heard of or I haven't heard of yet. And you all may have heard them. I've said the Dutch, Finland, Sweden, Scotland, Ireland, UK, France. They're all at a boiling point. And, I want to ask you all this. We had two stories come out. One, and they were both about somebody working for the Pentagon, right? And be real careful with your words on the one many of you are probably thinking I'm going to talk about. Oh, was John Wayne in North Alaska? Okay. But anyway, the one Pentagon story is about a guy that got busted for human trafficking, drugs, using them, buying them, selling them. We'll see how deep that goes as far as how severe the crimes were. But they arrested, I think, about 13 or 14 others along with this guy. And he was with the Pentagon. So that's bad enough. But what does that show us? We've seen bust after bust after bust for similar things for people who have been career government people. The swamp It's infested with a bunch of preverts and drug addicts, which is what we've been saying all along. And it's going to turn out to be even worse than that. But did you all see the guy that worked for the Pentagon in New York giving a guy who was Muslim a bunch of grief? Did you all see that video? Yeah, Tennessee had like 500 victims. That's what they're releasing right now, and probably more than that. Yeah, Gary, I had a good Thanksgiving. I hope everybody else in the chat did also. Steve said, no, you didn't have a good Thanksgiving, Steve. I should have went live so I'd brighten your day. I'm just kidding. Why didn't you have a good Thanksgiving, Steve-O? Steve Marino? What is it? If you're Steve, they call you Stevie, Steve Marino, Stevedore, Stevie Weavy. Annette had a good Thanksgiving. Ian said he survived Thanksgiving. But yeah, if you all saw that video of a guy giving a Muslim a hard time, it is odd. And I think there's something up with that. And let me tell you why I think there's something up with it. Because I thought to myself, my last couple of broadcasts, I was being a little too, I was bringing out too much of the dark side of Islam. But of course, the dark side is showing itself of what's happened in Israel. Okay. And the comments that are coming out from these people with Hamas and Hezbollah. So I don't know. So anyway, it's odd that we get this Pentagon story about this creep, okay, committing all these offenses, especially with little ones. But right away, you have this guy going out in the streets of New York. He sees himself being filmed, and he's saying some repugnant, awful things to a server at a food cart. And the guy, I think he was from Iran, I don't remember, but he was responding very little, and I won't repeat some of the stuff he was saying, but it was general, in a general way, you guys know you're a bunch of, really bad people, and what you do is horrible. And I don't think they got enough casualties when they went into Palestine, really provocative, but not illegal. Okay. But anyway, if you watch that video, he was smiling, that Pentagon guy. And this story, I'll put it that way, this video of this guy verbally abusing immigrant at a food cart came out simultaneously or near simultaneously as a story of the Pentagon guy that got busted with the kids. And this guy worked for the Pentagon. That's just one point that's got my antennas up, because you can go to the water cooler and say, hey, did you hear about the Pentagon guy? And somebody say, yeah, I heard that. That's old news. And they're thinking about it's the Pentagon guy at the food cart. See what I'm saying? No, wait a minute. It's the other Pentagon guy I'm talking about. The one who had 500 victims that was human trafficking and dealing drugs. Okay? With a gang and been doing it for years. No, they think you're talking about the guy that had a smile on his face and was saying nasty stuff to an immigrant. Oh, that's one thing. The other thing is the guy was doing it with a smile on his face. And he was serving in the Pentagon under the Obama administration. Oh, and Kathy Hochul is putting out this task force to get people to spot conspiracy theories and to monitor free speech. Oh, and there's Letitia James in New York and Judge Engoron in New York trying to put Trump in jail for his free speech. So how do we blow a smokescreen over one Pentagon employee? Oh, you get another Pentagon person. How do you get public sentiment to agree with arresting someone because they're talking nasty to somebody? Because guess what? They arrested that guy. They arrested the smiling Obama Pentagon official who was being verbally nasty to a poor immigrant. They arrested him and took him in handcuffs. And I watched the video of them taking him away in handcuffs. So guess what? He was smiling then too. So you get my drift. Kathy Hochul, after the Rainbow Bridge deal, she said, everybody's on edge. We have to, worry about things getting out of hand and all this kind of stuff. So they blew a smokescreen over the first Pentagon guy, kind of muddied the water up with another Pentagon story. They got the public perception to be open to the notion of putting handcuffs on somebody, even if they were a government official now, and arresting them, taking them to jail with a smile, I might add. But then the news story that I watched was only about 4 minutes long. And if you get a chance, watch it. They talked to the guy that owned the food cart. And of course, they said, everybody's rallying around us to support us. They've set up a picnic table so we can all sit together and talk nicely. I wish you would apologize. He said, because that kind of talk can get somebody KILLED'd. That's why he needed to be arrested. And I was thinking to myself, I saw a long video. Pretty much everything the guy said was highly politically incorrect, okay? Was offensive, especially if you were a Muslim, but it wasn't illegal. He didn't threaten the guy. They're normalizing arresting people for being nasty or mean or perceived to be mean. You get what I'm saying, folks? Yeah, KNS, put a 00 for SOROS, and just use zeros for like PODESTA, because both those names, they're protecting. And as far as the pod, ESTA, I remember when Trump got elected, him and his brother owned the largest lobbying firm in Washington, D.C. And I get away with saying at one time it was called the Podesta Group. I don't think you can GOOGLE that. But it was big. They made millions of dollars. They were, as I said, they were a powerhouse, the powerhouse lobbying group in Washington, D.C. After Trump got nominated, after Trump won the presidency, they closed up shop. They did an emergency shutdown of the largest lobbying group in Washington, D.C. That's how scared they were of them. What's all BS? Let me see. Oh, this guy that they arrested? Yeah, well, it takes Donna, they arrested him. He wanted to be arrested because he was an Obama official. He was an operative. He knows he's not going to get in trouble. He is getting the public used to the idea of arresting people because the news reporters were very kind to the poor victims that had to listen to what this man had to say. He was down lower outside of the food cart. They were filming him. He had a smile on his face. He's making nasty comments about Muslims, and he didn't threaten anybody. He wasn't told to leave. He wasn't told to stop. The guy didn't even respond except, who knows if he was nodding in agreement. But what they did was a psyop, in my opinion, to get people to accept arresting others for their speech. That's what I think that Pentagon official at the food cart operation was about, and also to muddy the waters about a news story concerning a Pentagon official. Because the other Pentagon official story came out that involved human trafficking and stuff like that. So it was a dual psyop. That is not far-fetched. It fits like a glove. It's exactly like two words can't say at the same time, so I'm going to separate them. One is died, okay? And the other word is suddenly, right? I can't say those words in sequence or the rhythm will pick it up. You know why? Because people were putting up videos and updates of 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 25-year-olds, those two words. That's not normal. People were going, man, what's going on? A soccer player, a healthy person, somebody riding a bike. We've never seen that. So what was the counter psyop to do that? To stop that? One, start taking people down or giving them strikes for using that phrase, those two words together. But people would be putting up videos with that title, and when you clicked on it, it would say, Everett Scratchbottom, 94, who resided in a nursing home in Georgia, DIED, suddenly. And people go, what? Well, what did they expect? He's 94. But they would do that, and people would not want to click on it because, well, you're just going to hear about people in nursing home dying or something like that. Oh, my goodness, Derek. No one. Derek Chauvin. They got to him. He's in bad shape. Got to watch those Capitals. No one, because they get me for that, brother. So keywords and caps. Be careful with those. Fox posted about an hour ago. Oh, everybody be talking about it. Sure, there's a price on his head. So anyway, that's the way they do it. They get a similar worded story to cloud over a big story. Similar names, similar event. The media will push the least damaging one, and report on the big one once and then a little story 10 times. I'm short. That's all right. No problem. Oh, I'm sure, Lone Wolf. It was a fist bump after they took his handcuffs off. I'm telling you, that was it's plain as the nose on my face. Believe me, I got a big nose. It's plain as the nose on my face. When I saw that, I thought, what a jerk. And he's doing that to try to start fights in New York. That's what I thought. He's trying to inflame immigrants and make conservatives look bad. That's what I thought until I saw him get arrested and he was smiling. I said, that's what they're doing. They want to be putting cuffs on people, so we got to walk on eggshells and not say what we think, especially when they're out in the street. What about the Thanksgiving Day? What about Macy's Day? They can keep doing this stuff. Okay? That's their job. That's their life, is to try to dream up ways to manipulate public thought. But you saw what happened with one screwball out there. One that laid on the ground, and a couple of them stood up with a banner, and they got ran right the heck off of the Macy's Day. Boy, that's when you're really getting on people's nerves. When, I remember, how many times did your parents make you sit and watch the Macy's Day Parade? Let me tell you something. My charger is going cuckoo. My headphones conked out on me. All this stuff happens at the same time. You buy, I don't get the cheap junk. You get the name, thing. You say, well, I could get something cheaper. Maybe I ought to buy the cheap junk. You can get a month out of this stuff, maybe. Buy another one. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know where they make these. Must be up there in Michigan, Nikki, right? They got a lot of manufacturing up in Michigan. No, this is electronics. Must be in California, right? No, wait a minute. I don't think it's either place. I think it's in China. That's where it's made. Every foggy day, you got to buy new junk. Keep your phone working. You didn't watch this year, Bubba? Yeah, but my parents, every Thanksgiving, Macy's Day Parade. And this time they get these Kool-Aid haired wackadoodles out there. Very few of them, very few. And they got booed and shamed right out of the road. So they're petering out, okay? They're petering out. They can't keep up the momentum. This was about the Palestinian thing. The word's getting out about the abuse, about how vicious that attack was. And people, after the summer of LOVE, summer of love, people are starting to think in their minds, if something bad happened to me or mine, I'd do something back. And this river to the sea, and how we need a ceasefire. The average person is not buying that. Yeah, we had a parade, Gary. There's a parade yesterday, Macy's Day Parade, New York. Everybody watched Snoopy. I think they quit having Snoopy as a float. They had big floats that take like 25 people to hold the ropes. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Bullwinkle. I don't know what kind of floats they got now. Oh my gosh, I could only imagine what they try to put up there now. That's right, KS. They'll do anything to ruin our holidays. They don't. It's like I said a long time ago. They're not happy unless they're miserable. They're not happy unless they got something to be miserable about. It was what I was talking about last time about being thankful. How can people, you know, when you're thankful for something, at least me, when I say, oh, thank you, it's a good feeling. I'm happy, you know? And I was thinking after I did my broadcast, if somebody feels entitled, they're never thankful. They think they should get something, whatever it is, a job, money, or their parents give them a cookie when they got out of bed, whatever it is. When do they experience the happiness of being thankful? Never. I mean, have you ever been against the wall and something comes out of the blue and turns things right around, and you clasp your hands together and you look at the sky and go, thank you? You know, isn't that a good feeling? Well, if you're always entitled, if you always feel like you deserve stuff, you'll never have that feeling of giving thanks. And I don't know how we're going to get out of that. And it's like Trump was saying, you know, I value loyalty. And he said that years ago. Well, along with the Hitler comparisons, the Mussolini comparisons, and this and that, one of the news anchors said, well, he expects people to be loyal to him, like some kind of dictator. No. Loyalty, being loyal, is a way of showing appreciation. So if you have a bunch of entitled people that don't know how to show gratitude, they're not going to be loyal. They can't be loyal. They'll be only loyal to themselves or whatever little shiny object somebody waves off in the corner somewhere. That's right, Gary. They're not happy unless we're miserable. Well, they wouldn't even be happy then, Gary. Nothing will make them happy. If it wasn't something else, they'd find something else. They'd find something else to complain about. That's when this global warming thing really started kicking in, was after the prosperous Reagan years, okay? People were happy, and we can't have that. So what do? Oh my gosh, the seas are going to rise and all this kind of crap. So they have to get people upset and distressed about something. So you dream up global warming. Oh, they had rainbow stuff at the Macy's. Well, that's what, turn it off. You're right, Tennessee, turn it off. Oh, and I tell you what, I was thinking about doing a meme. Y'all tell me if this is a little too rough. I don't know. I just black background, white letters. I was thinking, if you spent one rusty penny at Target You have no concern for the future of this country or protecting our little ones. And I have absolutely no problem telling you to go straight to hell. Is that too much? Is that a little too rough? Oh my, Lori, that's tough. Sorry to hear that. Well, I tell you what, I keep saying it, and I hope I don't wear it out, but try watching some videos of Dr. Eric Berg. Dr. Eric Berg, Lori. A lot of things you can learn. I learned a lot of things I wish I'd known while I still had my parents. I think I'd have provided a better quality of life for them. Yeah, I tell you, if anybody going into Target is not paying attention, what is that one thing I had about Target? Oh gosh, I could make myself sick, I guess. Oh, let me see. I don't want to kick myself off, but they had some other new transgender thing going on there. I don't want. Let me see if I can pull it up on my. Well, they got a new Fruit Loop that is taking up a bunch of space in the store and teaching kids how to be really weird, if you know what I mean. Well, here's one. This isn't the story. It's about Target though. Target's got to put all their underwear behind glass. This is an article somebody posted. Mr. Producer posted, California crime causes Target to put underwear behind glass. That's a Reuters news story. And they're showing the aisles with these glass cabinets all up and down. And you know what? They're just going to break the daggone glass. But hey, it serves them right. I could care less about Target. I never could stand Target. Turns out my instincts were right. That's right, Fancy Oak. Ken Berry's good too. He lets you eat potatoes, cold potatoes. And Dr. Berg, he doesn't like carbs very much. And he's right. They're not good for you. P3DO, Steve. That's the way we spell that. Jersey Joe, how you doing? That's right. Now, Lori, and since the bathroom debacle. That's right, Donna. Well, and that we won't buy it, and then they'll learn their lesson, I hope. But nobody's going to come in my house with a Target bag. Say, man, don't be showing my driveway with a Target bag. People think I got sugar in my gas tank, and I don't. Where is that weirdo? And here Donald Trump Jr. put out this post, and it's good advice. This Christmas season, shop at stores that actually support your Christian values instead of woke retailers who attack faith and freedom. Small businesses receive the biggest impact when patriots like us shop with our values. And so he's talking about Public Square as I haven't got on that yet, but Public Square is got, you know, businesses that comport with our Christian values. Let's see. You got at track in North Carolina, 25 to win out round, paid 500. All right. You won $500. Good for you. I hope that's what I'm reading. 25K to win. Oh my goodness. Well, we got our fingers crossed for you, that's for sure. Yeah, that's what it was, Reba. Something about a clothing line for a guy that is, in my humble opinion, a weirdo. But anyway, Conor McGregor, talking about Ireland, he put out a statement, and this is a warning. You know, I I don't know what's going to happen to my mic got cut off to Conor McGregor. But he put out this statement. I do not condone last night's riots. I do not condone any attacks on our first responders in their line of duty. I do not condone looting and damaging of shops. Last night's scenes achieved nothing toward fixing the issues we face. So he's putting out a nonviolent line. Then he says, I do understand frustrations, however, and I do understand a move must be made to ensure the change we need ushered in and fast. I am in the process of arranging, period. He said, I am in the process of arranging and put a period. He didn't say what he was arranging. That's getting interesting. So then what else did he say? Believe me, I am more tactical and I have backing. There will be change in Ireland, mark my words. The change is needed. That's very strong words. And he's a very famous person. In the last month, innocent children, STABBED, leaving school. Ashling Murphy, red-rummed. 2 Sligo men decapitated. Wow. This is, capital letters, not Ireland's future. If they do not act soon with their plan of action to ensure Ireland's safety, I will. Well, that's a pretty strong statement. And he says he's got backing. Did he use the term backing? Let me check that. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Believe me, I have more. Believe me, I am way more tactical and I have backing. There will be change in Ireland, mark my words. Okay, I can tell you who is one group that can cash a check when they write it. And I'm pretty sure it's what he's talking about. It's the Irish Republican Army. How many people remember that? The Irish Army, IRA. Irish Republic Army, IRA. They've got decades and decades of experience. If you get on the bad side of them, they'll put the Ajax on you real quick. Let's see. Everybody says, yeah, thrift stores are okay. Yeah. Thrift stores okay until people started doing reselling on eBay. Thrift stores were for like poor people to go in and get clothes they could never afford. Now they go in there and grab it all up, put stuff on eBay. Poor people can't get a break on that. Yeah, Target exposed little porgy. Big Ray's Clothing and Three Bears Grocery, locally owned and operated. Oh, it was Roy? He was a little tougher, huh? He toned it down. Yeah, I read his first post. I can't remember, but you're right. He blew a cork. Well, he's Irish. What do they expect? They just did have peace with the IRA not that long ago. I mean, back pre-Obama, the tail end of the Clinton administration, they got the Irish Republican Army to tone it down. And look what it got them. Look what it got them. An Indian prime minister and a bunch of hooligans running around. So I guess they're going to gear up operations again. So anyway, did you all see where Mr. T put out a post with a picture of Abraham Lincoln, him looking at a picture of Abraham Lincoln, and a quote from Lincoln underneath it that basically said, if our enemies succeed, our country's going to get destroyed. And I reposted that on Truth Social, and I said, not a lot of decoding to do here, what Trump's telling us. Trump's telling us if people don't listen, I don't know what to say to them. But you know, that judge up in or down in Colorado, Judge, what was her name? Anyway, she would not allow them to take Trump off the ballot, but she had to put out a 125-page, I call it a hissy fit, 125-page hissy fit, talking about how Trump was guilty of insurrection on J6 and all this garbage. But, you know, the tone and the language used, but she still could not take Trump off the ballot. I don't think she was allowed to. But she's another person who's sitting in the judiciary that needs to be removed. Inflammatory rhetoric, which judges are not supposed to do, interfering with body politic, and we got another one identified. So oh, Hila's going to bed. Good night. Good night, Isla. All right, I know I've been going an hour and 14 minutes. People start dropping off. I don't blame you. Probably still got plenty of turkey sandwiches to make with mayonnaise and salt and pepper. Boy, I love that. Oh gosh, I wanted to get into it. Well, I got a note here where they claimed that one of the Caesars back in Roman days, was a Tranny, right? Let me circle that because I'm going to get into that. Let's see. I'll probably broadcast either Sunday or Monday night. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. And I'm going to circle that because I did some checking on it. It's pretty wild. And there's a few things that tie in to what we're dealing with today. But anyway, and this Liz Crokin stuff being verified. You remember the Little Caesars commercial? So I won't get in trouble. I'll put it this way. Do you remember the Little Caesars commercial? They would go, pizza, pizza. Remember that? Well, all that stuff's coming true. All that stuff's coming out to be proven right. And what was it? What was the I know Little Caesars did pizza, pizza, and the other one, I have to get a recording of it and play it when I do a picture show. Party, pizza party. Remember that? How all that stuff is going to tie into most notoriously for the uninitiated Americans when it ties into the Obama administration, when they had that $60,000 2 a.m. catering party, right? For the guy we talked about last week who just got convicted in, where was he at? Nygaard, okay? He's the one that provided the catering for the White House for $60,000. And he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. And he's got a direct connection to the Obamas and what Liz Crokin was talking about. That is going to be a smack in the face, folks. Keep an eye on that too. You like to play that game? So yeah, we're watching it, and like I said, you don't have to. I did a little mental gymnastics with this Pentagon guy, but I'm telling you, if you watch that food truck interaction, he's got a smile on his face. He's saying keywords that I think were scripted out. And when he got arrested, he had a smile on his face. So anyway, tell me I'm crazy. I don't think I'm crazy. He did it to overshadow the other Pentagon guy's story, and he also did it to normalize people being arrested for saying things. The way he behaved did not deserve an arrest. You look at what happens to Trump supporters. You look what happened. They say worse about us and Donald Trump on television every night. So anyway, check it out, you guys, and see what you think. And I will be seeing you soon. Thank you, Gary, for helping support tonight's show and helping me out supporting a week of a show. And I want to thank everybody that's kicked in to buy me a coffee. I've got a list up there. And last week, I had Gary help me last week. I appreciate that. SM helped me last week. And you see the names on there. I had Tennessee and Aaron, Cameraman, Lone Wolf. So I appreciate each and every one of you, and I am glad you took the time to spend your precious time with me. I'll be going live again soon, and remind me, I'm going to circle it here on a notepad, talking about that Little Caesar. There was a Caesar who was he wasn't a transgender, and was no such thing ever in history until now. Just like there wasn't global warming for the last, I don't know how many thousands of years. But anyway, all right, folks, we'll talk about that and a lot of other stuff next time we get together. Let me just check my chats, make sure. Because sometimes I'll get off the chats and somebody will have asked something and I go, holy cow, I didn't get to answer it. All right, everything looks good. Yeah, they are running out of moves on the chessboard. We got their king cornered and it's waddling around one. Did you ever see people in a chess game like that? The king just can waddle one place, waddle another place, waddle another. That's where they're getting, folks. And pretty soon it's going to be checkmate. So you all have a great night, and I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.